Hello YouTube, this is Asatsu5. This is going to be kind of a vlog style video, just to kind of give you the situation. I'm getting either some allergy issues or some sinus issues, so I wasn't feeling all the way 100% today. Did go to see Wonder Woman with my brother, really enjoyed the movie. You can probably hear my voice kind of fading in and out. And then I went to Academy and I bought me some fillet gloves, some cut resistant gloves for knife testing. And then I came home and took a nap and pretty much slept all day or evening. Woke up and tried to film this video around 11 whatever. And kept on getting interrupted by my friend Daniel. He was Snapchatting me about this club he was at, and he was like, hey, you should show up. So instead of finishing the video that I'm filming right now, I went to the club. It was pretty interesting. There was a fight outside in the parking lot. They had like 2 or 3 security officers on this one guy. And then I was like, oh, okay. Sounds like a good place to be. And I walked in the door, and then they had a staff member with a metal detector. So I got rid of this. I went to my vehicle, put this up, kept these 2 things, which this is what I'm going to talk about. I went in, and there was no one to take my ID or to take my money, so I just walked in, and it was packed. It was a good time, but I was having some sinus issues, so I didn't dance or anything. I just kind of chilled with my brother from another mother. And anyways, let's talk about the subject that this video is going to be about, and that is some thought experiments that I often have concerning self-defense with a knife. And I have these thoughts because one thing, my YouTube channel is about edged weapons, some other stuff, but edged weapon history, and self-defense and camping and whatever. But it's mostly revolved around self-defense and knives. When I go to Buffalo Wild Wings, I often have this thought experiment that I'm in the restaurant. I'm at Buffalo Wild Wings on a UFC night. Someone gets too much to drink, and they threaten me with a beer bottle. Now, a beer bottle is technically is a deadly weapon. It's assault with a deadly weapon. I'm in fear for my life. I'm in fear for my safety. I pull out my large espada, which is a pretty intimidating looking knife. And during this situation, by this time there's going to be a lot of ruckus made, people with cell phones. He's probably going to be cursing me out because he's drunk. And they usually have a police officer at Buffalo Wild Wings when it's a UFC night, but not always. So a police officer walks in the middle of this and sees me with my intimidating 5.5-inch espada, and sees a guy with a beer bottle. Now, what is that police officer going to do? What is going through his mind? He sees a guy with a rather large knife, and he sees a guy with a beer bottle. He doesn't know the situation other than those 2 people with deadly weapons squaring up. So this could end very badly for one or both of us. I don't want to be shot. So what is the best thing I can do to survive the situation, not get hit over the head with a beer bottle, and not get shot by the police? Well, first off, keep in mind I'm holding this phone with my left hand, and this is my right hand. I think that if I'm using a knife for self-defense, because the knife is my primary self-defense tool, I don't have my concealed handgun permit yet. I'm waiting until September 1st when the prices come down because of the new law in Texas that comes into effect September 1st. And so the knife is my primary self-defense tool. And I think the best thing I can do is to hold my knife back and with my left hand have it out like this, kind of not really pushing, but to keep the distance, and say, hey, I don't want this, I don't want to fight, get back, stay back, get away from me, security, whatever. Um, and that way, the people filming on their cell phones will see me being very passive, giving the guy every opportunity to walk away. Police officer comes in, he sees my knife back. I'm not, trying to intimidate anybody. I'm not brandishing it per se, and I'm being very, very what's the word I'm looking for? Unaggressive, docile. I'm being very defensive and somewhat passive. And hopefully he'll say something to the effect, police, drop your weapons, and he'll give me the opportunity to do that. I don't want him to say, drop the knife, pow, pow, shoot me, and then I'm dead. That'd be a bad day or a bad night. So I think in this instance, I want to have my knife back. Maybe, not out in a striking fashion, but just kind of have it in a retreat position, have my my left hand advance, and try to play like, well, I'm not playing, I don't want violence, but, make sure that it's very obvious that I don't want a violent encounter. Now, here recently, past 2 years, when I go to Buffalo Wild Wings on a UFC night, I try to take either my Asp pepper spray and my strobing flashlight 4.7s, and these will be my go-to tools if I have them on me and if I can get to them in time. This is a little bit easy to actuate and deploy. This one is a little bit more difficult because you have to flip the switch and you have to be oriented the right way. But pepper spray is a very good thing to have. A tactical flashlight is a very good thing to have. It's not a deadly weapon, and you can escape. And almost no court is gonna, blame you for using a flashlight. Pepper spray, it's pretty defendable in court. It's not a deadly weapon. So I try to keep these on me, but sometimes I don't. This thing likes to disappear in the washing machine ever so often. I've been out of batteries for this for a while, but I just recently got some new batteries. Now, situation number 2, this is a little bit more tricky. Let's just say I'm at a convenience store, restaurant, someplace that's populated, that has people walking around or security videos, and a guy comes in with a gun. And so me having a knife, there's only one option I really have, and that is to take the offensive and charge and try to mess them up as quickly as possible where they can't hurt anybody. I'm probably going to get shot, but, stab, cut, maybe try to cut the flexor tendons. But I have to take the initiative and the fight to the guy with a gun, because you can't do this from a distance. And I often think about this, well, how is that defendable in court? You got to realize defending yourself with a knife is a tricky thing. Not only do you have to have a certain amount of skill and knowledge, but when you go to court to plead your case, this is a very intimidating weapon. A lot more people are more comfortable with people defending themselves with guns than they are with knives. Knives is a very gruesome thing. It's not just quick and over. It's drawn out a little bit. There's a lot of blood on everybody. Believe it or not, guns are more politically correct than knives to defend yourself. What are the security cameras going to see? What are the people going to say? They're going to say that I ran after the guy. Now, if the guy's obviously shooting up the place and then I run after the guy with this, I probably can defend that in court. But let's just say it's on the streets or a convenience store, and I walk in on a robbery or someone's mugging me. It's not so obvious. They're not just shooting up the place. They're just holding a gun and asking for money. And if I take the fight to them and use a knife, the cameras are going to see me running at a guy and stabbing them or cutting them, whatever I'm doing at the time. and they might not see the gun. Maybe I'm the only one that sees the gun, because guns are generally very subdued in color. They'll not usually blaze orange unless they're all Alaskan guns. So I think the knife, although it's my primary weapon at the moment, it's going to be a very difficult thing to defend yourself in court. You know, when you're on trial for murder and your defense is self-defense, you have to articulate why you did what you did, and why you used what you used. And that's very important in articulation. You got to be able to articulate your feelings, what you're thinking, what you're feeling, thinking, seeing, doing, everything. So that's just the thought that I wanted to leave you with. You know, tactical knives are kind of romanticized. You know, it's big industry, big money, and it is a very difficult weapon to defend in court, as opposed to a gun where, like, if someone's shooting up the place or someone's mugging you, you can walk backwards and shoot. You can be retreating and shooting at the same time, which is very obvious to whoever's watching that you're not wanting the fight, and it's a defensive thing. You're not advancing on the person. With this, you have to actually advance on the person depending on the situation. Sometimes you can cut someone off of you and you're not advancing, but other times you have to actually advance on the person to apply the knife. So, again, I can't sleep. I'm a little sick. And I thought I would have this vlog video with you. So that's it. I hope y'all have a great day. And I'm Satsu5, and I'm out.